I can maximize,
Oh, I need to not move this. I just need to move the.
how you can maximize the
Okay.
events and just really get the
Here,
most
I will
out
have
of them.
you.
And make a
approve
referral based
that.
business where you are just living your life and people
I will
call
have
you and
this.
say, hello, will you come to my house? Which is wonderful, and it's the dream, right? The more events you do, and I do events in conjunction with a bunch of other things, like, is anyone here at my Popeye class? So that's the thing you do in conjunction with
We
events.
can plug it, like it doesn't need to be plugged into its power, it just needs to be plugged into the camera.
Which one's the time?
Power's this one. Sorry, guys, we have to
Oh,
like
okay.
kind of.
I feel like you did it. You did
We
it.
did it, yeah. and then
I have
we'll
to
get
go
it
up there.
The cable on the floor.
Oh,
Behind you.
cool. Wow.
And then we gotta turn the TV back on.
Is it happening?
It's happening, I promise.
Hi, Zoom people.
This is what happens when Katie leaves, guys, sorry. I hope she's having a nice time.
Oh, is she on vacation?
Her son is kind of Instagram famous and he got invited to New York to sing for the Snow White soundtrack.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is the most interesting part, guys. Do you see this? This animation? Top notch.
Top notch.
The rest of the slides, less interesting. So really just absorb that one. So anyway, we're going to talk about why to do them, how to do them, and how not to do them. That's a big one. There's definitely ways you can lazily do a client appreciation event and you might get something out of it, but that's not doing a client appreciation event. So that's why we're going to kind of go over some best practices.
Love you guys, bye.
I click. Yay. Okay. So what is a client appreciation event? It's a free, fun, and valuable event that you're planning for your SOI. It's free for them. Yeah, I don't want free to be confusing here. You pay for them, right? And we'll talk about how you can minimize paying for them as well. But all this has to be is something that you're providing of value. Is it going to be of value and fun for everybody in the world, right? Probably not. Everybody doesn't want to go to a water park the same way everybody doesn't want to get family pictures taken, right? So you just want to make it something that's going to be widespread. People are going to like this. But if they don't, the good thing is the value is in inviting them to the event. I know that my agents always laugh about this, but it's good if they don't actually come to the event. I know that sounds weird, but if they don't come to the event, sometimes you don't have to pay for them. And that can be a really good thing. Then you can invite more people to the event. Is it good? Sorry. That's okay. Okay, was this where I was? Because things are different now. Yes, okay, cool. So why are we doing an event? Who likes to call their SOI? Like you genuinely like it. Good job, Tyler. Picking up the phone is not the easiest thing sometimes, right? And this isn't even a cold call. This is you're calling someone you've hopefully sold a home to, or someone who you know and like and trust. And they know and like and trust you. This is a good reason to call your SOI. You're literally inviting them to something fun. This isn't, hey, who do you know who can help me buy or sell real estate? This is, I would love to invite you to a super fun, free, whatever I'm doing, right? It's cost effective through sharing. We'll talk about how you can make it the most cost effective, but don't think it's just, I need to go rent out a movie theater for $3,000. I can't do that, so I'm just not going to do an event. That's not what this is. You want to provide some kind of value. You don't want to say, hey, come to my office. We're not going to talk about anything and there's no free food. Who wants to go to that, right? So it has to be that you're providing some type of value. For me, it's really just reminding them that I'm an agent and that I'm alive. That's why I do it. Every quarter they remember, hey, Evelyn is still an agent. It makes you look successful. So depending on the event, I don't typically say, hey, my brokerage is having this event. I say, I'm having this event. See, I rented out Cowabunga Bay all by myself. Don't look at these other people. But it makes you look successful and legitimate. It helps you reconnect with them. I say possibly face-to-face because that's if they come to the event. Some of my best feedback from events was when I invite them and they say, sorry, I can't come, but can you help me look for a house? but can you help me look for a lot? But my sister is looking for a house, right? And those are the people who didn't come. It's a fun thing to do, fun for us as well. Can you think of any other reasons why you would do a client appreciation event? Or did I cover them all? Hi, guys. I'm just being dynamic, walking around the room. No other reasons? Cool, I got them all. Those were all the ones I came up with. How often should you do an event? So it depends on your business model. For me, I think once a quarter fits with my business model. And that's in conjunction with, I do a pop by at least every 6 months. And I'm doing calls on their home anniversaries. I'm doing calls on their birthdays. You need to have your own SOI system. If you only do events, you're going to be doing more than 4 in a year, if that's the thing that you do, right? But quarterly is great because you're calling your SOI every 3 months. Okay, if you were going to take a picture, this is one to do. Also, I can send these to you. But this is how to do a client appreciation event. This is not just doing one email blast and calling it a day and saying, oh, no one could come, right? This is doing an appreciation event. So I'm not super digital. I'm printing my SOI list. To print an SOI list, you need an SOI list, right? So if you do not have a written out Excel spreadsheet, numbers spreadsheet, SOI list, like that's number one. Go home and do that. That's the thing you got to have. Print it out. And for every event, I then save my printout where I have all my notes, and it's in a folder that says client appreciation event. So I could go back and I could see who went to this event last time I did it. It's just nice to kind of have that. So printing out my list. The first thing I'm doing is sending out a save the date. So this is like an event invitation, but not with a ton of details on it, because I might know, oh, I'm doing this thing, but every single detail is not figured out yet. So I'm going to text or email out a save the date to everybody, probably both. And then I'm going to call through. So I'm going to look at my SOI list and I'm going to call through the list. And if someone says, yes, I'm going, great, marking them down. If they say no, I'm marking them down. If I don't get a hold of them, I'm marking down that I have to try that person again. With my list of yeses, I'm going to keep following up with them regularly until the event. It's not just one yes and you forget about them. Then email blasting out the official flyer. The official flyer is going to have my sponsors on it. It's going to have the charity on it. It's going to have the time. And let me tell you, a lot of them won't read everything on the flyer. So I'm going to also put that in the body of the email, put that in the body of the text. This is when it is, this is what it is, all the important details. Some people only look at pictures and some people only look at words. Do you find that when you're sending things to your clients? It's very funny to me sometimes, but you just have to make sure you're getting in front of everybody. Every time someone says, you might have someone who doesn't check their email as often as we do. So a week later, they're saying, hey, I'd like to come, add them to that yes list. And then before the event, keep texting, emailing, calling the people on that list. Hey, so excited to see you in a couple weeks. Reminder, the charity event is blah, blah, blah. Please make sure you bring this if you're coming. Often we'll just do something easy like a pair of socks for the road home, a can of soup, or a non-perishable item. I'm not making them bring something crazy, but that's also another touch point that you get. Social media. So you're going to be posting your event flyer, but here's a big no-no. You're not blanket inviting the world. And I see a lot of posts that are blanket inviting the world. Usually you're going to have a limit of people who can come to these things. So I'm posting it and then I'm saying, please let me know if you'd like to RSVP. Funny quick story. So when we were doing our Cowabunga event, we have the sponsors, like they're able to bring their family to the event. And so they had the flyer. This was, I think it was a pool company who did this. I don't remember. A roofing company. Yes. And so the roofing company put the event flyer on a public Facebook group, so nothing affiliated with us at all, and said, would love to see you there.
Like it was their event.
Like it was their event, like anyone could go and
It doesn't ask any questions. You just walk out
Yeah.
the door, like
And-
it is.
and you pay per tier of people. And so if, let's just say they had, and we have our numbers to a T. I know exactly how many humans are going to be in Cowabunga Bay. Let's just say 100 random people said, oh, Cowabunga Bay, and we go. That's going to cost another $1,000. So that's a big deal. And so
Zoom people are asking if you're gonna be able to share your slide with the others.
totally.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I will totally share them.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, anyway, so the most important thing here is just don't blanket invite anybody. Everything has to be, please RSVP. I need to put you on my list. However, you need to convey that to them because some people will do crazy stuff.
What happened?
oh, I think Cindy Poole sent it to me and said, is this okay? And I said, definitely not. And then someone who was on the committee who talked to the roofer called them and said, take that down immediately. Good job, Jenny.
They were really unhappy.
Bulldog.
They were not happy on there.
Yeah.
We're
It
like,
wasn't my person, but it was my person.
because the vendors, and we'll get to how you ask them, but the vendors give you money to offset the cost and we let them bring their families as a nice thing that we do. Because the point of this, you get your marketing out on our flyer. We talk about how awesome your roofing company is. You cannot invite 1,000 people to our event. No, do your own event.
They were very surprised to hear that though. They were like, what?
See, that's what I'm saying. People don't know. That's why you have to be really clear about this stuff. But anyway,
Luckily, they had no social
the Facebook group was the problem though. The fact that it was in this random Facebook group. Anyway, make sure you have the picture. Oh, and then when you're actually at the event, I like to take pictures of my clients, just say, hey, can we take a selfie real quick? Then go have fun. And then I always joke around, like, let me prove that people were here. Anyway, so get the pictures at the end. You can do a reel, do a post, whatever it is. Text the flyer to all your RSVPs, keep texting reminders of the date and location. And the day of, I'll usually text them and say, hey, this is how the parking works. Hope to see you there. And then make a reel at the event, do a story at the event. All these things reach different people. So just try to reach as many people as you can. After the event, I'm going to send them a thank you card. So it's just going to be a little handwritten card. It was so great to see you. Thank you for coming to my event. If someone couldn't come, they're probably going to get a text that just says, so sorry I missed you. Hope to see you at the next one. And then I do a CMA packet. So we're in January. Anyone who's ever closed with me in January will get a CMA this month. In their letter that I write, the last paragraph is always going to be talking about my next client appreciation event. So anything in January is going to say, can't wait to see you at Classic Fun Center. Stay tuned for more details. So if I don't have the details yet, it's going to be, this is what I'm doing. I'll send you more details. And it's always going to be, you'll get the official invite soon because I need to keep track of all the people. But you will have people from these little touches who are going to text or call you and say, hey, make sure you save me some spots for that event. But you want them to be primed for the next event. Like, oh, she's always doing something fun, And then consider an Eventbrite. So like for Presidio's company-wide awards, they did an Eventbrite. That's a really good idea. It's not a free service, but what it does is it's going to keep reminding your people, hey, this event's coming up. You can keep reminding them as well, but it's going to keep track of your RSVPs. You don't have to do it that way, but if you're someone who this organization sounds stressful for you, find something like an Eventbrite that'll do it for you. How to pay for the event. Consider partnering with preferred vendors and other agents. You can also partner with other agents. So even if your office doesn't have something coming up, or if you want to do something, find a couple agents and create one of these. And you share the cost and you share the value. We don't ever want to ask someone to give us money and not provide a value, because then you're just draining resources and it's not fair to anybody. And you're not going to have a sponsor who wants to keep helping you. Make sure something's in it for them. And for these people, it's usually marketing, right? So they're going to come on the flyer, like their information is going to be on the flyer. Maybe they get to come to the event. And we only ever ask one person per category. I'm never going to have 2 lenders giving me money for an event. Never going to have 2 home warranties, 1 in each category. And for me, I give them a sales meeting spot. I'm like, and come talk at a sales meeting, right? For you, if you're doing an event and you're trying to get someone to help you pay for it, say, I'll send your name to 5 of my realtor friends. Like, I'll help them use you. If you help them, they'll want to give you money. We have sponsors who want to give us money for these events. And they call certain events every year. They're like, well, I'm doing Cowabunga, put me down on Cowabunga again. And then at the event, they have the opportunity to maybe give out swag, maybe set up a table, right? Ask them, what would be of value for you at this event, right? If the vendor can't go to the event, that is okay. They can still give you money for the event, but they won't know that. They'll say, oh, I'm busy that day. I'm so sorry. Ask me about the next one. No, you can still do this one, right? There's still all of this value for you. Lenders can legally pay for up to half of something, but it's when they're on half of the marketing. So you can't just get half of the money from a lender and put their name super tiny on the bottom of the flyer. Like, they should be on 50% of everything. So if you are getting, a lot of money from a lender, it's your event and the lender's event. So that's just something to be cautious of with them. Otherwise, if it's a home warranty company, if it's an HVAC company, if it's an electrician, if it's a plumber, alarm company, pest control, yard services, anything that has to do with a home, right? It would probably be beneficial for them to get it in front of you. And it doesn't have to be that you're getting a lot of money from them. It can just be $100. Great, you're offsetting your cost by $100. As far as marketing goes for these vendors, that can go a long way, right? I know when I find a good HVAC person, I'm sending them to 1 million people. When I find a good plumber, they're going to 1 million people, right? So there is value in this for them. But anyway, this is how you would offset it, and then you end up paying a small percentage of it. So let's get into some types. If you don't have, the means to rent out a water park, which let me tell you, it's way more expensive than you'd think, rent out a pool, right? So there's a lot of aquatic centers around here. The Linden one's really cool. Every city has one that you can rent out, and you just do a really low-key pool day, right? Movie theater is a great one. They're a lot of fun, and if you pick a good movie, it can really be a success. Here's one that's really inexpensive, a class. So you can do an investor class, you could do a first-time home buyer class, whatever thing that you think that you know enough about to tell a room of people. And this is something you're providing where maybe the lender brings food for you. The lender brings a bunch of pizzas or Cafe Rio or something awesome, and you prepare packets of information for people. Serious people come to these classes, right? If someone is taking time out of their day after work to come to an investor class, yes, there you go. Now you have an investor lead. You can also do these on Zoom. I feel like it's a little bit easier if it's on Zoom, but you don't have the same effect. You could do both. You could do a combo. But whatever thing that you think you have a lot of SOI who would be interested in it. So this is like my 10th year in business. I finally found enough people who are interested in investment homes to do an investing class. I've wanted to do one forever. Maybe your people are more first-time home buyers. Great. Bring all the first-time home buyers together. Ice skating. So we've done a few ice skating events. Who in this room can ice skate? See, that's what I found, and I was surprised. You live in Utah, guys. It's a lot of fun. Who can rollerblade?
You can roller skate.
That's almost the same people. So it ended up being a lot of kids doing it, which is fine, right? But branch out, do different types of events, ask for SOI what they like. I'm from Florida and I can ice skate, so anyone from Utah, just wanted to tell you that. I'm not from here and I can do it. They have ice rinks too, but irrelevant. And there's a lot of really fun events here, like Mill Creek Commons, Galavan Center. Like there's cool places you can skate. Anyway, this is where it comes down to inviting the people is where you get the value. It's fine if they don't come and they don't ice skate. They're probably like, well, that's cool. Maybe one day I'll learn to ice skate.
You can also rent out the new diploma.
We should look into that soon. No,
Smells really weird.
I love you with the photo.
that's a really random complaint.
I know. Taco season, that smell does not come out. Like. it
Well,
is-
roller rinks have a good smell too that we're gonna be finding. It's a nostalgic smell, so it's fine.
Date night out, is that the swinger thing?
Wow.
No,
What you doing here?
you leave with who you came with. It's
Yeah.
very clear. No, so
First-
we did a date night. We did a date night at Club 90. So Club 90, it's in Sandy. They have one night a week where they have a professional karaoke band. And it was a really big deal. And I thought it was a lot of fun. It ended up being more fun than I thought it was going to be, honestly. We had desserts. So we just had like cupcakes and little pastries and things like that. And we had a photo booth. And we just said, come have a Valentine's date on us. So they bought their own drinks, but we had the place rented out, the karaoke band and desserts and a photo station. So it was an interesting one that we did, but I did get more positive feedback than I expected. But that one had a lot of interaction with your clients, surprisingly. So you kind of have to figure out if you want to be talking to them or not. Like Cowabunga Bay, it's hello, have so much fun, bye. And you go talk to someone else or do something else, right? Club 90 was like, they're there at a table sitting there alone and you should probably go talk to them, right? So I don't know, you got to figure out what kind of things you like. Paint night is fun. I just haven't been able to figure out how to do it on a huge scale, but 50 people or less, you could easily do a paint night. You could do more, but it got a little bit expensive. Craft night, cooking classes, bees and jazz games, like that's really easy because you just buy a bunch of tickets, call through your SOI, give them the tickets, right? So these are not things that have to be these huge organized events. Some of them are like a pumpkin patch corn maze, like that's kind of a whole thing. Photography is one of my favorite events. Like we do fall family pictures. We pick a park, have professional photographers. And I get to see my clients' pictures that they make their profile picture. They put it on their Christmas card. I really like that part. So find something that you enjoy and your people will enjoy, and something that has lasting ramifications. So for fall family pictures, I print out their pictures, I put them in a frame, and then I go do a pop by. And they don't know I'm doing that. So they get like the digital version, and then I'll either be lazy and mail it, or I'll physically drop off a frame, and then they get a random pop by. So anything you can do to kind of like get more than one SOI touch out of these, that you're really getting your money's worth there. And hopefully your money was a really small portion of what it actually cost. One complaint I get, and this is a problem for me, like my business was web leads for a long time, and web leads are everywhere. Like I've sold houses in Duchesne, Richfield, Logan, going there today. Not all like South Jordan Draper, right? And so my Logan people never get to come to my events. My Payson people rarely come to my events. Something you can do to fix that: find a Swig or a Starbucks or a bar or whatever thing you like to do and your people like to do, and say, hey, from this time to this time, I'm here and I'm buying you a drink. That's a very low key, easy event. You go sit in a Swig in Ogden and say, hello, I'm buying my Ogden people a drink, right? Or in a Starbucks. So there's things you can do where you don't have to plan this huge event. Like I have 4 past clients in Logan. So when I go up there, I usually do pop buys, and they don't get nearly as many as everybody else, but they get something, right? So there's things you can do to keep people engaged, but if you have enough somewhere where you don't live, consider doing something like that.
Can I ask a question? What kind of time frame do you like do this?
I would do like 2 hours.
No, but I say like beforehand, like if you're, do you like? 2
Oh.
weeks or like a week or like?
You know, you could really do whatever. I find that people don't plan as much as I do. So you could probably do it like week of, like, hey, Thursday from 2 to 4 or 3 to 5, whenever you want to do it, right? But if it's something easy like that, I'd probably give them a couple weeks. A big event, I like to do a month. If it's something where I need a head count, it's going to be at least a month. But if it's something like that, I think you could probably even just do a week.
Do you have them sign waivers for some of these?
No. Wonder if we should. Does Cowabunga have some kind of waiver? Because that's a water park. They do have a lot of children who are lifeguards.
The threshold, there's just a sign that says you waive all responsibility, probably.
So I guess we do.
I mean, I think that any places like, you know, ice skating, roller skating, anything like that, like water parks, they're gonna, on the, a lot of the places are either gonna have you sign something before going in,
Yeah.
basically giving them, if you break your ankle.
We've signed them, but they haven't made anybody else sign them. They make us sign them. So I guess that makes us responsible. So I don't think a waiver is a bad idea. Yeah, maybe talk to your insurance person or a lawyer and see.
Yeah, I do little kids camps and I make them all sign waivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would
Because
think
they're
it.
active and doing stuff and accidents happen, so.
You can get hurt doing anything. I'm surprised no one has gotten hurt ice skating because, like I said, they don't know how to ice skate. Chantel biffed it. Yeah,
So
that
you
poor
might
girl.
get insurance to cover some of these events then?
Well, for me,
It's a great
I
question.
don't know.
We have it. So we've always just relied on, I guess, whatever we sign. The event place, yeah. These are good questions to bring up. Steve, you should know the answer to that and tell me.
Stuff was done in Starbucks, Swig thing, what's the turnout like?
It's not high.
I would, that's
It's another awesome one where you get the value of an invitation and people generally don't take you up on it. But it's nice. They're like, oh my gosh, my realtor wants to buy me a Starbucks.
You sound really
Yes.
good, right?
You sound great. It makes you look great. You're not buying a lot of drinks, is my experience. But I don't know, you know? It's not and you can have a lender sit with you, you know?
There's quality.
Yeah, have a lender sit with you and it's really fun to say, remember that person who did your loan? That's this person. I know you never met them, right? If they didn't come to closing or anything. But yeah, you can even bring a friend to any of these things, right? Don't go to a random coffee shop alone, even though I know these are your SOI, but either way, bring someone with you, hopefully someone who's helping you pay the bill. These are just a few flyers that we've done for our events. A lot of them, it's like multiple years that we've done it. So we did an ice skating date and skate a couple years ago. And a lot of kids come too, but some events, it seems like a lot of events are more kid focused. So if you have someone without kids or someone trying to have a night without the kids, like that's not really helpful. So you want to give opportunities. for all things. Like for fall family pictures, we're like, bring a pet, bring your friends. Like I've seen some really awesome friend photo shoots, some really awesome pet photo shoots. People bring dogs, people bring cats, which was cool and interesting.
That was my people.
Have you done a pet event? I know Jen's done stuff.
So we did pet like agent appreciation things, like where agents bring pets. The pet thing we do is with our charities. So our fall family pictures, our third event of the year always is a pet charity. It's a different one though. Like we've done Best Friends, Humane Society, West Jordan Animal Shelter. So that's kind of how we bring pets into it, because you can bring pets to the photos. So that kind of was like a natural one for us. The movie nights, we've supported, I think there's a charity slide, but either way, the movies, we supported the road home. So it's been bring some socks, bring some gloves. It's cold out there. The date night and the date and skate, we did a diaper drive for the Utah Diaper Bank, and then Utah Food Bank for Cowabunga Bay. So we tend to support the same charities if we have a good success rate with them. The easier it is, the better results you'll get. So if you have a really complicated or expensive thing to bring, it's harder.
If you don't wanna do a fire event, something like that, we can do just the charity like we did for the primary children's, for the kids.
Totally.
We didn't do any event that went with it, and the clients loved it. We had a ton of interaction and got a ton of donations, and that was, didn't cost us anything, just a matter of time.
It's so true.
It was fun.
So our diabetes drive that Carly spearheaded, it was for care packages for primary children's. And so they have a list of items that they like in these diabetes care packages for when kids are diagnosed with diabetes. And they have the kids and the parents like stay in the hospital and figure out how everything works. So it's a scary time. And so we put together these bags for each of them. And it was 150 of them, which was crazy. And then we just told our people, hey, I'm collecting coloring books. Like you don't want to overwhelm them with a list of 30 things, but if you say, I'm collecting coloring books, I'm collecting slinkies, I'm collecting fidget toys. Schools, yeah, we did a school supplies drive as well with that, but like you don't. And that's kind of an easier one where you could say like, here's the 20 things because they're all school supplies. But I think the simpler you keep it, the better your success rate is. If it's bring a pair of socks, like, are you not going to go to Costco in the next month where you could grab a pair of socks? Like, it's easier, right? So the easier and the simpler you make it, the more success you're actually going to have with these. I think charity might be like, it's going to come up soon. We'll talk about it soon. Anyway, what if you can't be there? I love to say that's okay. It's great that you can't come. Thank you. Now I can have someone else come. So the value of the event is the follow-up. It's the invitation. It's the reaching out. Don't let not being able to do the event stop you from getting the value of the event. My best responses are from people who didn't go. So I wish Marissa was here because she has my favorite one ever. So Marissa, we were doing a movie event and she texted through her people. She had someone who said they were going. And I think day of the event, they said, we're so sorry we can't come, but do you think you could help? I think it was their friends. Was it a referral?
Yeah.
Like, can you help my friends buy a house? Right. Less than a month later, she sold them $1 million home. And she directly traced that back to the event. She's like, I haven't reached out to those guys in a long time. I didn't have a reason to reach out to them. Right. And that was all it was. They didn't even use one of her movie spots. Right. And I'll go over some of my really good responses later that I got from them, but what not to do. So this is another really good one to remember. Don't just do a blanket invitation without registering people. It's not good, especially if you're paying per person. If you're not paying per person, it's still not a good idea because how are you keeping track of them to remind them? It's just not as effective, right? You see how that is? Don't do what that pool or the roof company did and just post a flyer. Don't forget to invite, this is a big one that I fall victim to. Don't forget to invite your friends, your family, and your current clients. Is there anything worse than when any of those people buy homes with other people? Right? So for your friends, invite your friends. Like people will say, oh, none of my clients could come to that event. I'm like, did you invite your friends? Did you invite your family? Because you want to make sure you're helping them buy a house. Why shouldn't they get the value of your event? Right? Why shouldn't your friends and family get to go? So just make sure you're inviting them. And if I'm currently showing someone houses, I might not have remembered to add them to my SOI list yet. So just a caveat of if you just meet a client, add them to your list really quickly, then you avoid this. But when you're actually creating the event, make sure you're inviting your current clients if they haven't made it onto your SOI list yet, depending on how you guys run your organization.
What's he living on there?
I don't know. I can't see it. How do I make
There's
this?
that part down.
Can I just click it?
Oh, no, maybe not.
I mean, it's somewhere now. Not document through social media. So if you go to an event and you don't take any pictures there and you don't do a story and you don't do a reel and no one knows that you did the event. So make sure that you're telling people the awesome things that you do. That's a big thing we have to do as realtors. You have to tell people the awesome things you do. Here we go. I knew there was a slide. Charity. So for us, like I truly value helping the local community that I am in. And then it's kind of one of those things where people want to work with people who are doing good things. So if you have someone who's trying to pick between two realtors, one realtor invites them to an awesome event every 3 months. They're always doing charity drives. They're posting pictures of how we collected 150 diabetes care packages, how we put together 50 backpacks for the Road Homes Back to School drive. You get the credit for all of those things, even if all you did was help people put things in backpacks. You know, you get credit for this stuff. I want you to be doing things for the right reasons. It's just that when you do things for the right reasons, good things can happen to you. So I think if someone is trying to decide between two realtors, the one they're going to pick is the one that's supporting their community. And that's the person I want to work with as well. I want to work with people who value the stuff that I'm doing, right? That doesn't mean I don't have a client who buys a house with me and never comes to one event and then goes buys a house with someone else. That happens. That happens to everybody. But when I can close the deal and have that client regularly come to my events, regularly be sending me referrals, appreciate the drives that I'm doing, that's the people I want to work with. And people want to work with like people doing these things. So you're giving people the opportunity to do awesome things. You know, when you were in school and there was all of these opportunities, all of these drives, like when you were little, and now you don't really have that, right? You're creating these opportunities for people as well. So if you're someone who wants to support the community, but you're like, I don't know how, I work all day, I never have time. And then you have someone like me texting you, hey, can I have a pair of socks for the homeless? Right? They have an opportunity to do it. Ask your clients if they are passionate about any charity that you can support, because wouldn't they love that? Wouldn't they love having 500 people helping them with whatever charity they're with? And if they don't have one, they're just going to appreciate that you're asking. They're saying, oh, that's really cool. Like, no, maybe do something with animals, right? I get that a lot. Like we do. So if you have anybody who is passionate about charity, ask how you can support them, because we're constantly asking them to support us. Be on brand. So let's say like Darcy Oliva, the dog-friendly realtor. She does a lot of dog-friendly charities. Makes a lot of sense, right? Let's say you work with a lot of veterans. Maybe you do a charity connected with veterans. So do something that's on brand and within your niche, because it's just going to make your sphere that much bigger and that much more supportive. And then collection drives are really easy because you're collecting stuff. There's a lot of more complicated things that you can do, but I think the easiest way is just bring this cost-effective item to this location. It's easy. Any questions on charities?
Venmo you too, but I want to drop it off.
Yes. So the other thing that you can do is put your Venmo on the flyer and say, if you don't have time to go buy school supplies, Venmo me, I'll go get school supplies. Venmo me, I'll go get diapers. Venmo me, I'll go get socks. And then when you go and buy whatever it is, send them a picture and say, hey, just so you know, here's the socks that you bought. Thank you so much. Here's the school supplies you bought. Thank you so much. So you're just getting more touches out of it. That is a good point. So just a few what ifs. What if no one in your SOI can go? Great. Awesome. You still got all the value out of this. A lot of people will say things like, oh, well, I'm not really a water park person, but tell me about the next one, right? Or I'm not really a family photos person, but tell me about the next one. Because with a variety of events, you're going to get a variety of people. And if your client just likes to stay in their house and not do things, they're not going to be mad that you're inviting them to stuff. Who would be mad about that, right? And if you're not available that day, like if you, the agent, can't physically go, don't worry about it. That's fine. Most of the value has already happened, right? This makes sense, right? Any questions on it? It's a really big point, so I just want to make sure that we drive it home. Like you don't have to be there. And if your clients can't go, that's okay too. Results. Let me prove to you that events work. These are tiny, but let me see if I can read them. Okay, so this is my client, Martin. He is a single guy. I would say he's in his 50s. He comes to every single event that I do, alone, most of the time. He always brings something for whatever charity it is. And when I say bring something, I mean like a 70-pound bag of dog food. Like he brings something. So I invite him to the movie event and I said, how many tickets would you like? And he said,
Bigger behind you.
that's cool. And so he asked for a bunch of tickets, and I think he asked for a lot, like it was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 tickets or something. And I was like, oh, sure, like, let me see if I have that many, but I think so. And then he said, just so you know, that's why I wanted to bring him, was to introduce you. That's great. I really appreciate it. I'm just glad I finally can. So this guy's been like trying to find people he could refer to me, right? Let's see this one. So this is Don. And I said, hey, how are you? I'm hosting this event at the Jordan Commons Megaplex for the new Willy Wonka. I'd love to see you. Are you available? Let me just preface this with call first, then text, right? He said, hey, Evie, I won't be able to make it, but I really appreciate the invite. One of these days, Colby and I would like to sit down with you and discuss investing in real estate. We're looking to find ways to get into the industry and obtain some rental properties. We'd love your input, blah, 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 right? So he's not coming to the movie. This is my clients who came to my investor class. So they came into my investor class. They actually are currently renting one of my investment properties. So it was kind of awkward for me because one of my slides is like, here's how my properties cash flow. And they live in one of them. But I told them to buy a home sooner. And anyway, here they are. So they're, yeah. Long story short, she texted me this. Hello, I have a friend who's looking into finding investment properties over the next 10 years. I told her about you, how amazing you are at your job, and about the class we came to. Do you have a digital business card? Surprise, surprise, I don't. I sent her a picture of my other one. That's so nice. I'd love to help. Please send her my info. Then I went to coffee with Georgia. Georgia is a trust fund girl, and she wants to buy a lot of investment houses, and it was really cool. Anyway, so even though those guys are currently renting my house and I would like them to keep renting my house because they're great renters, if they wanted to buy a home, I would let them out of the lease. But they're already referring me to people because of the class that they came to, right? That class cost me nothing. The lender bought the pizza. I printed out some papers.
You can do free.
Yes.
We just need to do
That's
it.
like-
We just have to get-
Unfortunately, I just haven't. And I should. And one day I might. Kate'll help me. Shane is a great one. So the people who are going to be your biggest supporters are the ones who move from other states. Why? They don't know anyone here. So you can really make a big impact on people who move from other states when you invite them to events. They're looking for friends. They're looking for things to do. They don't know about anything in Utah. I mean, some do, right? But not much. So this is Shane. I helped Shane buy a house. He was referred by a lender, so I didn't know him really. And he's come to every event since he moved here. Every single one. I've done 2 pot buys to his home, and that's it. You know, everything I do, you know, kind of is subliminally asking for referrals, but I've never said like, hey, Shane, give me some clients, right? So he sent me this. He sent me this girl, Mariana, and I don't know how I got her. Anyway, he sent me Mariana, and I texted him and said, thank you so much for sending me Mariana. So you can see my last text is, thank you so much for coming last night. Hope you guys had fun. That was from our movie event. We had a great time. Oh yeah, hope you get your voice back soon. See, I couldn't even talk at the last client appreciation event. I fully lost my voice. So I got a lot of value out of them coming. So when they came in, I was like, it was great. So he sent me Mariana, and I said, hey Shane, thank you so much for sending Mariana my way. I really appreciate it. Hope we can find her house soon. Hey Evelyn, you're welcome. She's in good hands. And this is like a not talkative guy who's never very effusive or anything, but apparently he is like referring me people. And I showed Mariana houses last night, and she's a real human. She's the one who won the American Dream Grant. If you saw my reel where I'm dancing because my client won the American Dream Grant, that was Mariana. So that's kind of cool, right? And Shauna. So Shauna's one of my biggest supporters. I don't know that she'll ever buy another house. Like this could be her house forever. But she is like a cheerleader. So you want to invite your cheerleaders to these events, even if you know they're in their forever home, because the point is they're telling people about you. So she just said, I want to thank you and your company for a wonderful time. That was amazing. Everyone loved it. And to tell you thank you as well. We did do a sock donation. There's going to be more coming. I'll let you know when they arrive. Love you, girl. You're amazing. So whenever you have those cheerleaders, invite them to the events. When you have people who are people who talk to people for their jobs. So like CPAs, hair people, nail people, people who talk to people, invite them. Because if someone says, I'm looking for a realtor, they might say, well, I know the best one, and they're going to invite you to a lot of fun stuff, right? And if you see them and talk to them every 3 months, it makes it a lot harder for them to use other people because you're literally talking to them every 3 months and inviting them to something awesome. So, do you have any questions on events? Did I really excite you guys about going and doing events?
Yeah.
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 Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Cool. Well, and if you guys ever have questions about events, if you want to bounce ideas off me, I'm here. Let me know. Oh.
Was that the best thing?
Yeah.